Ram has just unveiled a game-changing strategy for 2025 that could reshape its future. Amid a turbulent automotive market where many manufacturers are grappling with sluggish sales, Ram finds itself particularly vulnerable, with reports of key executives leaving. In response, Ram has made a bold move by announcing a substantial price reduction, sparking intense industry chatter, especially among rivals like Ford and GM. This maneuver not only aims to stabilize Ram's position, but also threatens to poach market share from competitors. The implications of this price cut are profound. What will it mean for consumers, and how will it shape Ram's trajectory moving forward? This development marks a pivotal moment for the brand, promising an intriguing journey ahead. In its prime, Stellantis and its brands dominated the automotive landscape, from rugged Jeeps conquering off-road terrain to Dodge's powerful muscle cars and Chrysler's elegant sedans. Today, however, Stellantis appears to have hit a roadblock, struggling to regain momentum and chart a clear path forward. There was a time when Jeep was the go-to brand for adventure seekers. Whether it was tackling rugged trails, exploring the great outdoors, or chasing a sense of pure freedom, Jeep was the ultimate companion. The brand embodied adventure, often featured in camping ads and national park posters. However, things have changed drastically. Since 2018, Jeep's sales have plummeted by a staggering 44%, nearly half of its customer base lost in just a few years. And Jeep isn't the only one struggling. Dodge, once the undisputed champion of muscle cars, was thriving in 2013, producing legendary models like the Charger and Challenger. These weren't just cars, they were bold statements. But today, it's as if the brand's momentum has completely stalled, with sales nosediving by 67%. It raises the question, where did all the muscle car enthusiasts go? Then there's Chrysler, and its decline is perhaps the most heartbreaking. More than just a car company, Chrysler represented American ingenuity, known for its sleek designs, luxury, and groundbreaking innovation. These were the cars you'd expect to see rolling up to high-end events or leading the way in parades. But now, it feels like Chrysler is stuck in the slow lane, struggling to keep up. The auto industry is evolving rapidly, with electric vehicles and cutting-edge technology dominating the market, and Chrysler has fallen behind. So, what's causing all of this? You don't need to be an automotive expert to see why Stellantis is in trouble. It all comes down to pricing. For years, Stellantis has built a reputation for steep price tags, and now that reputation is catching up with them in a big way. Take the Ram 1500 Tungsten, for example. Sure, it's a high-end version of a pickup, but at its core, it's still just a truck, nothing groundbreaking or ultra-exclusive. Yet, walk into a dealership and you'll find a price tag soaring past $100,000. $100,000 for a truck? That's not just an expensive purchase, it's an investment. And it's not just their trucks. Stellantis has let its entire lineup fall into the overpriced category. Jeeps, once known for their rugged affordability, now come with price tags that feel more like they belong to luxury weekend getaways rather than practical off-road adventures. Family-friendly SUVs that should be budget-friendly? Not quite. Instead, they're priced so high that they're competing with luxury brands. Even Dodge sedans, once known for delivering muscle on a budget, now seem to be flexing their price tags more than their horsepower. The issue extends to vehicles that are supposed to be affordable. Compact SUVs and crossovers, typically the backbone of the auto industry, are being priced as if they belong in the premium category. It's as if Stellantis missed the memo that these segments are meant for practical buyers, not luxury shoppers. Now, consider the customers they're pushing away. Imagine a young family searching for their first SUV, something reliable, spacious, and, most importantly, affordable. Or maybe it's a first-time truck buyer looking for a reliable, hard-working pickup. They step into a Stellantis dealership, glance at the price tags, and likely walk out faster than a Dodge Hellcat launching off the line. Instead, they'll turn to Ford or Chevrolet, where prices are more reasonable, or perhaps Toyota, which strikes the perfect balance between quality and affordability. Stellantis has essentially priced itself out of its own customer base, making once accessible brands feel out of reach for everyday buyers. With competitors offering similar or even better vehicles at more competitive prices, it's no surprise that Stellantis sales are plummeting. So, how are they responding? In a move that's making waves across the auto industry. And for good reason, Stellantis has just announced a massive price cut across its entire lineup. And we're not talking about minor discounts. They're slashing prices by as much as 35%. Yeah, 35% off. That's like wiping out a third of the price. Let that sink in. And the best part? This isn't some vague, "we'll get to it eventually" promise. It's happening, and soon. Starting in the second quarter of 2025, Stellantis will roll out these price cuts across its entire lineup. Imagine this. The Ram 1500 Tungsten, once priced at a staggering $100,000, will now cost around $65,000. That's a massive drop, putting it right in line with competitors from Ford, Chevrolet, and GMC. Suddenly, it's not just a luxury truck for the elite, it's actually within reach for more buyers. But this isn't just a marketing stunt. Stellantis knows the truck and SUV market is one of the toughest in the industry. Ford and GM have been dominating for years, while Stellantis has been falling behind. This bold move is their way of saying, "We're still in the game, and we're here to compete." And honestly, this isn't just a win for Stellantis, it's a huge win for buyers. Lower MSRPs don't just look good on paper. They mean lower monthly payments, making these vehicles far more accessible. It also paves the way for better financing options, which is a game-changer for many families. On top of that, buyers will finally feel like they're getting their money's worth, no more sticker shock or the nagging feeling of overpaying for what's ultimately just a set of wheels. But, of course, not everyone will be thrilled about this. The sudden drop in new SUV prices is bound to raise concerns among recent buyers who might see their vehicle's value depreciate faster than expected. Imagine buying a brand-new Dodge or Jeep SUV in 2024, dropping $75,000 with the expectation that it will hold its value for a reasonable amount of time, especially given the hefty monthly payments. But then reality hits. Just a few months later, these owners could be in for a rude awakening when they realize their SUV's value has plunged by nearly $25,000, all because of Stellantis's aggressive price cuts. Such a rapid drop in resale value can be a major financial hit, leaving owners struggling with the impact on their investment. Naturally, the immediate reaction will be frustration and disappointment. A steep decline in value not only disrupts financial planning, but also shakes confidence in the long-term worth of their purchase. The best way to minimize this loss. Owners may need to hold onto their vehicles for several years, ensuring they get the most out of their investment by driving their SUV longer. Even if it means racking up higher mileage, they can offset some of the initial depreciation over time. For prospective buyers, this situation highlights the importance of long-term ownership when purchasing a new vehicle. With the risk of rapid depreciation, buyers must seriously consider whether they're prepared to keep their vehicle for several years to make their investment worthwhile. But at the end of the day, Stellantis has no choice. This drastic move is necessary for the company's survival. Now, let's talk about Ram for a moment. Ram trucks have always had a larger-than-life reputation. Trucks that not only tackle the toughest jobs, but also turn heads while doing it. Known for raw power, durability, and rugged charm. They've long been a top pick for those who embrace the work hard, play hard lifestyle. But lately, Ram seems to have picked up a new habit, pricing itself out of the market. Have you seen the price tags on some of these models? It's almost as if they're daring customers to walk away. At this point, Some of their trucks seem more like showroom trophies than vehicles you'd actually take off-road or use for hauling. Meanwhile, Ram's biggest competitors, Ford and General Motors, have taken a completely different approach. These companies aren't just sitting back, they're pushing forward. Ford has been riding the electric wave with the F-150 Lightning, which is like the Tesla of pickup trucks, but with a cooler edge. And GM? They've been making bold strides in their electric vehicle strategy, rolling out models that blend innovation with real-world practicality. Plus, they've been working hard to keep prices competitive, offering deals and incentives that are tough to resist. Now, let's talk about 2024. Ford and GM were engaged in a fierce price war that felt like a heavyweight boxing match. Except instead of punches, they were throwing out discounts. It was a buyer's paradise, with slashed prices, cashback offers, and sales teams practically rolling out the red carpet to close a deal. Imagine this. You walk into a Ford dealership, take the latest F-Series for a spin, then casually head over to a GM lot, arms crossed, and say, "All right, top that deal." It was a dream scenario for anyone shopping for a truck or SUV. And Stellantis? Well, while Ford and GM were battling it out, Stellantis was just watching from the sidelines. No eye-catching discounts, no major promotions, no aggressive marketing, nothing. It was as if they saw the competition heating up and decided to sit back with some popcorn instead of jumping in. But in a market as fiercely competitive as trucks and SUVs, staying passive is a terrible strategy. You have to fight for every customer, and Stellantis simply didn't. Unsurprisingly, they paid the price. Big time. While Ford and GM boosted their sales and strengthened customer loyalty, Stellantis saw its numbers plummet. It was a textbook case of you snooze, you lose, and unfortunately, Stellantis hit the snooze button one too many times. Now, though, they seem to be waking up, unveiling an aggressive plan to cut prices by up to 35%. Stellantis has come to a crucial realization. If they want to stay competitive in this intense market, they need to bring something big to the table. A few months ago, they made a surprising announcement about their global vehicle shipments, revealing a significant decline. In the third quarter alone, shipments dropped by 20% year over year. But things looked even worse in North America, where shipments didn't just fall, they plummeted by a staggering 36%. What's really interesting is that while shipments took a major hit, sales didn't decline nearly as much. Stellantis reported only a 15% dip in actual sales for the same quarter. Sure, 15% is still a notable drop, but it's nowhere near the 36% freefall in shipments. So, what's causing this gap? A couple of key factors are at play. First, Stellantis is rethinking its strategy, likely cutting back on less popular models and focusing on the ones they believe will dominate in the future. It's a shift from quantity to quality, which makes sense in such a competitive market. Second, dealerships are getting smarter about inventory management. Instead of overloading lots with cars and hoping for buyers, they're being more selective, only stocking models they're confident will sell. No one wants vehicles sitting around, losing value. But Stellantis's challenges aren't limited to North America. This is part of a much larger global issue. Their shipment struggles extend far beyond the US and Canada. Stellantis hasn't just struggled in North America. Their troubles extend across Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and major markets like China, India, and the Asia-Pacific region. That's a huge chunk of the global market, highlighting the serious challenges they're facing. It's not hard to see why. The auto industry is going through a massive transformation. Electric vehicles are reshaping the market. Supply chain disruptions are still lingering, and consumer preferences are shifting faster than ever. If Stellantis wants to stay relevant, they need to adapt and ride the wave of change instead of getting swept under. Meanwhile, their competitors are stealing the show. Ford and GM are wowing customers with cutting-edge electric vehicles, sleek futuristic designs, and high-tech features that make you feel like you're driving a spaceship. Stellantis, on the other hand, is still relying on older models, ones that may have been hits in the past, but now seem outdated. And then there's Ram trucks. This one stings because Ram once owned the rugged, work hard, play harder image. But now, that dominance is slipping. One major reason Ram might be losing ground is its decision to move away from the iconic Hemi V8 engine. For years, the Hemi was more than just an engine. It was a statement. Its raw power and unmistakable roar made it a badge of honor for truck enthusiasts. Now, Ram is making a bold shift to the twin-turbo Hurricane engine, which is undoubtedly more advanced and efficient. But let's be honest, it doesn't evoke the same emotional connection for loyal Hemi fans. It's like trading in your perfectly broken-in leather jacket for a high-tech new coat. Sure, the new one might be warmer and more practical, but does it have the same character? The same soul? Not quite. Now, compare this to Ford's strategy. They've managed this kind of transition flawlessly. Remember when Ford rolled out their EcoBoost V6 engines? They didn't just scrap their beloved V8s and hope for the best. Instead, they played it smart by keeping the legendary 5.0-liter Coyote V8 in the lineup. It was a brilliant move. Buyers got the best of both worlds. Those looking for something new and efficient had the EcoBoost, a high-tech blend of power and fuel savings. But for those who still craved that unmistakable V8 rumble, Ford made sure it was still an option. That kind of flexibility is exactly what customers appreciate. Ford essentially said, "We get it. Not everyone is ready for the new wave of tech, and that's fine. The classic power you love is still here." That strategy wasn't just smart, it was a game-changer. And that's exactly where Stellantis is missing the mark. By moving too far from what made Ram trucks legendary without offering a transition, they risk alienating their most loyal fans. Rather than balancing tradition and innovation like Ford did with its EcoBoost and V8 lineup, Ram has taken a more abrupt approach, phasing out the iconic Hemi V8 entirely. Why? The reasons are straight from the automaker's playbook. First, fuel economy. Let's be honest, the Hemi was never known for being fuel efficient. It had more of a drinks like a fish reputation. Then there's the tightening grip of emissions regulations, especially from agencies like the EPA and California lawmakers, who might as well have automakers' nightmare in their job descriptions. And of course, there's the business side. Streamlining production cuts costs, saves time, and reduces manufacturing complexity. On paper, this all makes perfect sense. The accountants, engineers, and environmentalists are probably all in agreement. But here's the reality. None of that makes Hemi fans feel any better. Why? Because the Hemi wasn't just an engine. It was an experience. Imagine a Ram 1500 rolling by, its deep, commanding V8 growl rumbling through the dual exhaust. It didn't just turn heads, it demanded attention. That sound wasn't just noise, it was a symbol, a statement that said, "This truck means business." For Ram owners, the Hemi wasn't just about power, it was about identity. Owning a Hemi-powered Ram felt like being part of an exclusive club, one with the best soundtrack on the road. Now, enter the new kid, the Hurricane engine. On paper, it's a solid successor, more efficient, packed with power, and built with cutting-edge technology. Engineers likely spent countless hours fine-tuning every detail. But here's the problem. The Hurricane is quiet. Too quiet. Instead of the Hemi's thunderous roar, you get a soft hum. It may be whispering, "I've got power," but to die-hard Ram fans, that whisper might as well be silence. It lacks the raw emotion, the soul, that made the Hemi a legend. To be fair, Ram's decision to retire the Hemi makes sense in the grand scheme. Lower emissions, better fuel economy, and staying compliant with tightening regulations are critical for any automaker. But understanding the logic doesn't make the change any less bittersweet. Because here's the truth. The Hemi 5.8 wasn't just an engine. It was a legacy. And when something with that much history disappears, it's not just a business move. It's the end of an era. That's why these price cuts couldn't have come at a better time. Ram and Stellantis as a whole have already frustrated their fans with recent decisions, and slashing prices might be the only way to win back some goodwill. If Stellantis successfully pulls off this bold move, the entire industry could be in for a shake-up. Ford and GM aren't just going to stand by and watch Stellantis steal market share. They'll be forced to respond, and that could mean a full-on price war. A battle that could make trucks, SUVs, and crossovers more affordable than ever. And let's be honest, a price war isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sure, automakers might see their profit margins shrink, but the real winners in this scenario? Consumers. Imagine walking into a dealership and seeing your dream truck or SUV with a price tag that doesn't make your wallet cry. More competition and lower prices? That's a win for buyers, hands down. But there's always a catch. Automakers need to strike a balance between affordability and quality. They can't just slash prices and hope for the best. The key to winning this battle is keeping vehicles durable, reliable, and high-performing while making them more accessible to everyday buyers. For Stellantis, the road ahead is tricky. If they can cut costs without cutting corners, they might not only win back customers who felt burned in the past, but also attract entirely new buyers who would have never considered a Stellantis vehicle before.